Okay, so now that we've covered what's going on in the local area in Anniston, Oxford area, let's talk about what's going on down in Montgomery. Let's talk about the state of our state, basically. Um, See, it's a new year. It's still January, and there really hasn't been any major developments in the state house. They just started their new session, or I'm not even sure if they have started it yet. So, with that being said, there's not going to be a whole lot of news going down in Montgomery just yet. There will be here in the next couple of weeks. But what I wanted to discuss in regarding to state issues is a story that actually broke nationally about a couple of months ago, back in October. You remember when you kept hearing about this plan that Alabama was going to shut down nearly every DMV in the state and reduce it to just Huntsville, Birmingham, Montgomery, and Mobile. Basically, have four DMV openings. Everything else was going to be shut down in an attempt to save money because Alabama is, tens of millions of dollars in debt. Uh, this story had a lot of people, going insane because it's impractical and almost illogical to think that a state with a population of 4 million is going to only have four DMVs. Like that's a million people per DMV. I mean, that would be utterly impossible. Now, the other component to this story was that they weren't going to shut down every DMV like that, but that they were only going to shut down around 20 or 30 of them. And the 20 or 30, as what was reported by national news, were DMVs that were located in mainly areas that had higher populations of African Americans. Now, the conspiracy was that since in Alabama you now have to have a driver's license or a state issued photo ID in order to vote because they want to cut down on voter fraud. Um, the idea was, or the rumor was, that they were shutting down these places near the black neighborhoods and near the black counties in order to basically disenfranchise them from being able to vote. Now, I don't want to speculate, and I don't want to, divulge rumors and things like that. I don't know what the original plan was, whether they were just trying to save money or whether there was something else at work there. But the news that I want to give you all is that it's not happening. All those DMVs that they said were closing, they're not closing. Nearly every single one that was on that list either didn't close or is now reopening because it was just not practical. You can't have that many people relying on DMVs that were, sometimes 30, 40, 50 plus miles away from them. It wasn't practical. So Alabama has now scrapped that plan. That's why you didn't hear anything else about it, because the DMVs are actually going to stay open. So what I would encourage you to do is, if you're over the age of 60 and you don't drive anymore, still get you a photo ID because you are going to need it to vote. And make sure you keep that up to date. Don't let this idea of, I got to have a driver's license or I got to have a photo ID and that's some kind of inconvenience. Don't let that stop you from voting. You have to have that to vote in the state of Alabama. You have to keep it updated and you have to present it at your voting booth when you do vote. So make sure you have it, make sure it's up to date, and don't let it discourage you from being able to vote, because voting is very important and it's our civic duty. We have to do it. We need to do it. It's the only way we're going to get change around here. And that is the news for the state.